Try that again. Something like that. Good morning, everyone. It works every time when I'm actually off camera. I'm going to turn down my outside mic there. We heard the birds there for a second. Good morning, everyone from all over the world. Welcome to Not Church, no dogma, no doctrine, no BS, just mysticism. I'm Reverend Peter Panagore, a two-time near-death experiencer, a mystic who hid inside a progressive denomination for decades. I always felt like spirits, with a capital S, spirits operative, embedded in plain sight, working mysticism from behind the scenes. Inside, I was an inside agent. No one knew because mysticism is taboo, or was. We're trying to change that. And today, God is a four-letter trigger word. God is a four-letter trigger word. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Not Church. So let's trigger the presence inside ourselves right now with 3 breaths of centering, enabling our own connection to the divine right here, right now, among us, within us, and between us. We strengthen each other with the light that each of us carries, like little candles, all put together, one to the other, a bigger flame. The light magnifies itself through the lens of our hearts. So, please, with me, just a few breaths. Center ourselves. Let's close your eyes, please, and settle. Relax. Breathe into your third eye. Hold. Exhale across the top of your head, down your spine, feeling the muscles in your back, down to your root chakra, and hold a beat. Then up the spine, exhale slowly in control into your third eye. Now, together, let's repeat this, centering self. For those of you who are more advanced, you may stop with your mind a moment or less on each chakra as you go down your spine, and again the same on the way back up, including a breath of attention with your breath up here as you sweep across. The email that came to me a week or two ago said, "The word God makes me think of an abuser," she said. "I feel like my whole life has been a lie." From the mouth of spiritual abusers, the big G says, love me or I'll hurt you eternally. Do what I say or I'll hurt you eternally. Fear me or watch me smash the things you love. I'll do it. You know I will. Sounds like spiritual abuse. For many, the G word means coercion and threats, intimidation, emotional abuse, feelings of guilt and fear, isolation. Church people only think like me. Blaming. It's all your fault if you go to hell because you're a sinner. Ooh, I get to use the S word. Using children against you. Making you fear for the salvation of your children and fear for the salvation of everyone against you. Pardon me, around you. Using male privilege. An old white man, stern, powerful, mean, judging, controlling, coercive from the pulpit. Cult like. Because everyone agrees and enforces the abusive rules. And that reminds me of Stockholm Syndrome, when the abused bond with their abuser. The spiritual abuse is a real thing. And the G word is a trigger word. The G word. It's a problem word for people. When I say it, people have let me know that they don't like it. And they're right not to like it, because especially if they've been spiritually abused by those who wield the weapon of the G, big G. The G word is a summary word. It's a summary of abuse for a lot of people. Preachers and Christians wield God as a weapon to cut, slice, and control. So they own that word. They own that word and the larger culture because their thoughts and definition dominates. And it's infected hearts. And it's hurt people by the thousands. The domination comes from the fear they teach to keep control of belief. Mysticism is not belief, and fear is the opposite of love. And that's the message from above. And if you're in an abusive situation, either domestically or spiritually, get out. Get out. Because fear is the opposite of love. Ideally, the G word, if I were able to tell you what the G word means, ideally for me, the G word means what I saw on the other side: love, beauty, goodness, hope, compassion, truth, kindness, paradise, bliss, wholeness, healing, joy, understanding, knowledge, awe, adoration, power, mercy, creator, giver, source, the all and all, the I am, great spirit, my lover, flowing like peace, shining luminous light. To me, that's the G word. Healing and wholeness and peace. So many aspects of the big G. Now, a summary word I might use could be the G word. Maybe I'll start using the G word, the unspeakable, ineffable, because we lack a single word. Other than that word, I've been searching for a single word to summarize the unity of the Holy Divine that lives and waits for us in the fullness. capital F. We could say the source, capital S. When we change worlds through the fake door of dark death, those things I listed, that's what awaits us. That's what the big G is. That's what the fullness is. And anyone who tells you otherwise, they haven't experienced it for themselves. And so they use fear to control and to weaponize. This is what I prayed. Our Father and Mother who art in heaven. And when I started doing it out loud over the microphone, I got stares from the choir. And Jesus talks about his mother. Pardon me. Yes, he talks about his mother, the hen, who will gather Jerusalem under her wings. Hosea describes the G word as a human mother. The scriptures go on to say a mother bear, a mother eagle, giving birth, nursing, in labor, as the mother of a weaned child, a single woman, as a single woman, and as a woman looking for a lost coin or baking bread for food. Descriptions of the divine as female. Goddess? Maybe. That works for some. I'm not in favor of either God or goddess, but God is stuck in my tongue and I'm trying to break the habit of swearing. I've been known to swear, and to some, the G word is a swear, a 4-letter word. It's certainly a trigger word, and I've gotten more than one letter over the years. So find the link below in the description to the women as goddess in the Bible. It's in the description. I'll burn you in hell eternally if you don't love me and obey me. This is the summary of what people hear in that word. I'll burn you in hell if you don't love me. If you don't love me, I'll beat you. If you don't love me, I'll hurt you. I'll harm you. Coercive, fear, creating, control. This is spiritual abuse. Using fear for coercive control, religion as a weapon. When you die, if like me, if when you die like me, maybe you find yourself in a hell of your own making, fear not. It's a temporary purgative fire of divine love, purifying you through the second death that is the gate of heaven. Fear not. Just love, love, love. Love is the treasure of life. Love is the treasure of heaven. Words to live and die by. Love, love, love. This is the covenant I will make with them, says love. I will put my law of love inside their hearts, and I will write it on their minds. It's not about fear, my friends. And I'm trying to break the habit of the G word because I know it hurts people and it's a trigger word for a lot of people. So I hope to call it the G word, but I'm still looking for a singular summary word that contains the wholeness and the oneness of the unity that's as personal as that. Now, before I head over to the chat, I want to let you know that I've got a mastering empowerment course slash workshop / workshop coming up called Aiming at the Oneness on March 21st. And you can see the details in the description below. And if you want to talk to me personally ever about your spirituality or mystical experience or whatever has been said here, please book a session with me. And at the top of the next hour, please join us as we head over to Mystic Tea Salon, where we talk about mystical experiences in a safe environment and reflect with the wisdom of the group. There's often about 30 of us, and there's a lot of wisdom in our group. And you can find the links in the tabs at peterpanagore.love. So please like the video, subscribe, click the bell. Thank you very much for everyone who gave support last week through Super Chat, and I saw one pop up already this morning. I'll come back and see who that was. Thank you very much. And through PayPal and Venmo, and now, because I've been asked in Patreon, you make not per you make not church possible. Thank you, Kristen. You make not church possible for real, okay? Without you, no not church. All right, so I'm gonna slide this away a little bit. And I'm gonna move my screen away and move the camera in the same time so I can see um, whatever's going on over there. I've got a new rig. I should show. If I could, I'd show you my new little rig for making the camera, and the teleprompter is a single unit, but I can't break it apart very easily. So what's going on over in the chat? Hold on a sec while I do that. Okay, so I didn't think this through completely this morning. I've got a long way on it. Okay, I've come a long way on it, but I haven't completely worked on all the flaws. But that's the nature of my life, okay? So the nature of my life is to continue to work on my flaws, and that's okay with me. I'm known for making lots of mistakes in my life and taking lots of risks, and I'm okay with that. Heck, I had a poem went out this week in the IAN's newsletter, and it was a beautiful poem. I thought I wrote it. They told me it was beautiful, but it was definitely a dyslexic a dyslexic error in it, and that's just the nature of my life. I live with the flaws that I have. So if you have any comments or questions, using super chat is a really super way to pop that up for me. Thanks, Kristen, very much. And thank you, David. I appreciate that very much. I see you over there now. So any comments to make this morning? Anything anybody want to say? Hey, Brooke, good to see you here this morning out there in California. It's all about knowing the love. It's all about knowing the love. Thank you, Brooke. Thank you, sister. Appreciate it. Any comments, questions this morning? Anything you want to talk about? Galatians 5:22. I could look that up. I don't know it off the top of my head. Maybe someone could find Galatians 5:22 and we could see what that is. A churchgoer is hoping to affirmation that they're good enough person, and it's hard to be someone who questions those who wield biblical authority. Yeah, for sure. It's hard to question those who wield biblical authority. That is for sure. They hold the cards. That's right. That's what we're doing here. We're trying to break that. We're trying to break that apart a little bit. We're trying to break that down. We want to grab some of those cards ourselves. Let's see. Obedience is defined by self-appointed hierarchy. Yeah, that's right. That's church. To those who are triggered negatively by the G word, I would ask you to think about the hypodermic needle. If you live with an addict, you probably hate seeing them. Oh, Wendy, that's very clever and accurate. That's very clever. If you live with an insulin dependent diabetic, they represent life, same object. And that's the thing of it. That's the thing of it. It is a word that is used in closed cultures. So there are churches in which the G word is used, and mostly mainline kind of not evangelical, but progressive churches where the meaning of the G word is different than the meaning of the G word in the dominant evangelical churches and the literalist churches. But they're the ones that hold the control, and they're the ones that hurt people, and so and that's why people get triggered by it because they're coming out of those denominations. You're welcome, Catherine. She says thanks for reinforcing that. Peter, 100%. I've also found that there are many ways of knowing. For some, religion is a spiritual path and what they need now. Yeah, for sure, Virginia. Religion does provide that as a spiritual path for lots of people, even if they are in a spiritually abusive situation. Well, it's kind of crazy for me to say that, but I think that God can be found everywhere. That's what I mean by that. Um, And I know many who were brought to religions through mysticism. Lots of people, maybe 50% of all the congregations I've ever spoken to have membership that have been brought into the religion through mystical experiences. And of course, they're not allowed to talk about it in their churches, generally speaking. At least all of the churches that I interviewed over 18 months as I preached around New England asking those questions, nobody could talk about it in church. Well, maybe one person did out of a thousand. It's not allowed to be talked about in church. I'd like to change that. Actually, I'd like churches to be able to talk about mysticism inside the church. Words seem not to express the absolute, seem to make it small. Maybe Om as the vibratory sound of all creation. May absolute is sound instead of may sound. Maybe absolute is a sound instead of Om. Maybe absolute. That's a good word too. The absolute. Appreciate that. Thank you, Tamara, very much. Tamra, thank you. Um, I really like the Hindu word Brahman. Me too. I like that word too. Karen, so true. Om is the frequency of the earth. When we chant Om, we are tuning into the frequency of the oneness of being. Yeah. I can remember sitting next to my mother in church one day when I was about 10, and I told her, I'm supposed to love God, but I just don't. He scared me. Yeah. God can be frightening to a lot of people. We don't want to frighten people. God is, yeah. Um, Thank you for your service and your knowledge. You're welcome, Michelle Howe. Thank you. Ariane, I am what I am. I am what I am. Another word for God. Yeah. That's why there are no vowels in that YHWH, the tetragrammagon, or the Huvye, the Hudye Vudye, the YHWH, crazily translated as Jehovah or Yahweh, because it has no vowels and definitely doesn't say Jehovah. Fire and brimstone kept me out of the church for 40 for I lost that one. Where did it go? For 40 years, but the spirit led me back to the community and it works. The community, see, there can be good community in churches. There really can be. Spiritual community, but it takes the right kind of people. There are some good churches, and yeah, there are some good churches. I was a member of a good church. My progressive denomination, they were good churches, but they really didn't have a whole heck of a lot of room for mystics, but at least not publicly. But they were good people. But the fruit of the Spirit is joy, Galatians 5:22. Joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self control. Against such things there is no law. Thank you very much, Wendy, for bringing that up. Sabine, thanks so much. I feel sadness for all the years I believed the lie and blessed that I now experience the truth. Thank you for being a truth teller, Peter. You're welcome, Sabine. We're all trying to bring the truth out here. That's what we're trying to do, for sure. Not just me, lots of us, you included. David, how about the I am? Yeah, the I am. That's where I'm at too. So I kind of like the beloved, the beloved. That's really where my heart lies. The beloved, my beloved, my beloved. Thanks, TJ. Knowing the love. My question is, when Jesus said, I am the Son of God, do you believe that he was including all of us? Oh, yes, I do. No, I don't believe it. I saw it when I was dead. I saw every single 7 billion human being as utterly the child of the divine, completely beloved, absolutely made in goodness and light. All of us, no exclusions. All of us. All of us. All of us. And I think that whole begotten Son of God thing from the Council of, which council was that? Not Trent. It was one of those early councils. I'm blanking on the name of it, but the that's where the trouble began when they made him the only begotten Son, because that's just not true. I don't think he believed that either. Thank you, Olga. Thanks. Um, does Brahman represent the Holy Spirit? I think that all the names of God throughout all the world represent aspects of the divine self, and I just said the G word. I think all the names that see that's how deeply set it's into my freaking head. Um, I think that Brahma does. The Holy Spirit is an aspect of the divine, like it's a personalized aspect, like grace, like compassion, like it's a subgroup of it, a portion of it, but it's very personalized. And so, yeah, I think Brahma represents the Holy Spirit. The Tao is another name for the divine. The Tao is told is not the Tao. The Tao that is told is not the Tao. The name that is named is not the eternal name. The nameless is the eternal real. Yeah, so that G word isn't actually a name. It's a summary word of description, but it describes some bad things for some people. But yes, the Tao is actually that reflects what the I am, the YHWH. Uh, the name that can be said is not the name. So there really is no name for the divine. There is no name at all for the divine. They're all representations. They're all descriptors. And maybe that G word, it's a summary word of descriptors. My beloved, says TJ, my beloved. Me too, says Brooke. It's all about the beloved. Yeah, that's where I'm at. It's like I have a lover in heaven, like it's my only lover. It's the one I pine for and will find again. I want to share spirit with my 86-year-old mother. Yeah, I hear you. Um, I hope she hears you. At some point, something happens that opens her heart, the ear of her heart, so that she can hear what is already inside her, give her some comfort, because she must be thinking about the end times, her end times, because that's what happens when you're in your late 80s. Even if nobody's talking to you about it, you're thinking about it. That is just one of the things. Rod Mack, dear Peter, do you believe the law of karma will punish those who created the pandemic? Thank you. I don't know what will happen to those who all I know is that I created my own karma and I was forgiven and cleansed of what I had done because I turned my heart to the divine. I'm not the judge, and maybe I judged myself, and maybe they'll judge themselves. But I also saw that ultimately no one is lost to the divine. Everyone is in the presence of goodness eternally and permanently because that's the origin of ourselves. We are made of goodness, we're made of love, and nothing is lost. I'm not out to cast anyone into hell by any sort of declaration of karma or anything else. I simply lean toward the light myself and hopefully help others lean the same way. Uh, don't want to don't want to condemn anyone because that's not my power to do so. Um, a neat phrase you just said. You saw everyone as made in goodness and light. The imagio Dio. The imagio Dei. Yes, the image of God. Oh, there's that word again. Yeah, it's better to say it in Latin or Greek. Theo. Yeah, I can say it in Greek. The Lord seems so very accessible to me. It's because Theo is completely accessible to everyone inside their hearts if only they look there. That's all there is, right there inside you, right there. Source. Yes, source is a good word. The G word. What's with the matter with God? For some people, John, it's a trigger word. People hear the word God and they because they were abused in church, it's a hard word for them to hear. They equate it with all of the worst parts of church, including war and death and all the rest of the terrible things we can think of. So it's a trigger word, and it's hard in a multicultural setting where we're trying to use language to talk about the ineffable, and I want to try to avoid words that exclude others. And so that G word seems to be exclusivatory for some people. And so I'm trying to avoid that. Thank you, Capital Kim. Thank you very much. Um, The original LOVE, when the mirror was created before the great explosion of time and space. God is all there is. That's what we're talking about, JT. The original, the causal consciousness, the luminous star, the luminous diamond, the oneness of being, the whole of all there is before anything was. I am. That's the one. We're just so inadequate, but it's what we have to work with. So glad to feel the love here. Thank you, Peter, and all, says Ellen. Thank you, Ellen. The ancient Egyptian word is necjer, Netcjer, meaning the undefinable. Yeah, I'm with that. The undefinable mystery. The undefinable. And I throw in the word mystery. Helen, don't we all do the best we can with the light we've been given? That's the hope. I think we do, Ellen. Helen, I think that we all do the best we can with the light that we're given. That's all we can do. That's it. And not judge each other. Amen. Maybe the Unitarians have it right, the unity. Yeah, the unity. That's a good word, the unity. The unity. The union. The oneness of being. Source. The Buddha self. Is that the right term? Source is another word. Yes, the word God also means also that which makes all things possible. It does mean that the all creator makes all things possible. Does it get easier to see the light in other people and in everything around us? Yes, it does. Yeah, it does. As we protected, are we protected because if we could see God in everything, it would be too overwhelming? Yeah. You'd blow apart in a bazillion pieces. At least that's how it felt to me. I've come awfully close in this life. It's way overpowering. It's way too much for material world. And the fullness of itself, it can't be contained in here. It's too big. And so the veil is necessary for us just to be inside of it in order to live here. If we saw the fullness of it, wow, I have seen as much as I've been shown, not the full wholeness of it, because I didn't end up in obliterated back into the union itself permanently. But it's way too much for here. That's for sure. But it does get easier to see in people. Thanks, Charles. Appreciate that, brother. Um, I appreciate your sensitivity around the word. I still use it sometimes because, like you, it's been deeply rooted in my psyche. Yep. But I'm learning to find other words to represent creator. Yeah, me too. I'm trying to. I know lots of words. I mean, I spent my life studying those words, but that one word, that particular word, it's very deeply etched inside my mind. Um, trying to trying to cut it out a little bit. Uh, Meditation connects us to the source, which raises our frequency, which connects us to the oneness of being. Suffering can also do this if you choose to surrender. The illuminated castle is right on with that. That's for sure. Grace for myself and the church that hurt me to the point of suicide, though I never tried. The church can hurt like that, Michelle. For sure it can. And there are those who suffer that way. That's spiritual abuse. I'm glad you're out. I'm glad you're still here. And now you get to pursue the light itself without the encumbrance of all of the abuse. Love to you all. Thanks. Love to you, Illuminated Castle. All right, my friends. I don't mind a short not church. I'm glad that you came this morning. Thanks for being here. We'll see you at the top of the hour at Mystic Tea Salon. You can find the link on the tabs at peterpanagore.love. Hope to see you there. Any last comments, anyone? I'll wait a moment here. I'll see if the birds are on outside. Nope, no birds out there to entertain you. Love this community. Love to you too, Catherine. I love this community too that's growing. Keep it growing. Like this video. Appreciate it. Subscribe, etc., etc. Peace and love to you all. I will see you next Sunday or during the week this week, as you watch it. come to Not Church, come to Mystic Tea Salon. We're all here on the collective journey of consciousness. Please work to raise yours. We're all in this together. Amen and peace. We are all in this together. And it does take striving. You have to work at it. You got to work on your own stuff to make it happen. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. You're welcome, Ron. I appreciate you that you asked the question. I'm glad I was able to give you an answer. Peace and love, my friends. I'll see you next week.